High school, that one chaotic, confusing jungle where hormones run wild, loyalties shift with the wind, and your biggest heartbreaks feel like the end of the world. It was during this whirlwind that I first saw her. We'll call her she wasn't. Just the girl everyone liked, she was the girl everyone respected. There was a grace in how she carried herself, never arrogant, always kind. She'd stay back after class to help others, stand up for the quiet kids, and laugh at the dumbest jokes like they were gold. She had that magnetic presence. The kind that didn't scream for attention but still pulled every eye in the room. I, on the other hand, was just the guy in the background, watching, admiring, secretly hoping she'd notice me, but she didn't. Not then, because she was dating my best friend. Let's call him D. Now D and I have been tight for years. We knew everything about each other, or so I thought. But when he got with A, I started noticing the cracks. The constant phone notifications. He tried to hide. The secretive grins. The way he treated her like a trophy one minute and an inconvenience the next. What I saw over the course of that year changed everything. Because while A was investing her heart, D was spending his energy, collecting side chicks. He'd brag about hookups during school trips, show me messages he exchanged with other girls, and laugh. It's not cheating unless she finds out, right? I was disgusted, torn. Every time A smiled at him or hugged him from behind, my stomach twisted because I knew. And I hated that I knew. I started distancing myself from D, making excuses not to hang out. Every time I looked at him, I saw betrayal, not just to her, but to the loyalty we were supposed to share. Then one day, it boiled over. I told him flat out, you can't treat her like this. She's not just some random girl. He scoffed. You really think I care? She's just a phase, bro. That was the moment I walked away. From him, from our friendship, from the lie I had let grow for far too long. Asterisk, for months, I tried to move on, threw myself into school, got closer with other classmates, and eventually I met someone new. Let's call her L. Dot. She was everything I needed, supportive, funny, emotionally mature. We connected instantly, and for the first time, I thought maybe the universe was finally giving me a break. Then out of nowhere, a messaged me, it started small. Just a reply to one of my Instagram stories. You're still obsessed with iced coffee? Huh. I stared at the message for minutes before replying. We hadn't spoken in nearly a year, but something in me, maybe hope, maybe ego, hit send. That conversation became daily chats, then voice notes. Late night calls, and then came the confession. I think I made a mistake. Her voice trembled. With D, I always felt second. But with YO, I never questioned if I mattered. My heart raced. The girl I had wanted for so long, the one I saw as unreachable, was now reaching out to me, saying I was the one who made her feel safe. But I was the one who understood her. I didn't stand a chance. I broke things off gently but clearly. And A? She left D just like that. The stars had aligned. We were together. For a while, everything was beautiful. Walks under the stars, inside jokes. That feeling when you know someone sees you, really sees you. I thought I had finally won until I got the call. It was a Wednesday night when the world flipped on me again. I remember the details too well. I was on my bed, laptop open, halfway through writing an essay I had zero motivation for. My phone buzzed. It was a dot. Her voice on the other end was tight. Broken. I need to tell you something, she said, almost whispering. My heart sank. Someone starts a sentence like that, I said, half joking. It's never good. Silence. Then she let it out, fast, like pulling a bandage off a wound that had been festering. I slept with D. Everything stopped. I didn't feel anger. Not right away. I felt empty. Like someone had reached inside me and yanked something out. You what? I asked, even though I heard her perfectly the first time. She started crying, saying she didn't know what came over her, that it was a mistake, that she felt confused, weak, that it wasn't who she really was, but I couldn't hear her over. The sound of my heart beating like a war drum in my ears. This girl I had defended, this girl I had waited for, given up my relationship for, the girl who said I was different, and she went back to him. I wanted to scream, to throw something. But I and single quotes T dot instead. I said, it's okay. We all mess up. She cried harder, probably because she expected me to yell, to curse her out. But I didn't, because I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was calculating. And that, right there, was the exact moment something inside me changed. Asterisk after that call, she disappeared from my life again, back into Dee's arms like nothing happened. And I watched from afar, watched them post stories pretending they were happy. Watched the captions that said things like, sometimes you just find your way back. It was insulting, but also ... predictable ... and deep down, I knew how this would end. Because D, he never changed. He never cared. He was playing the same game on loop, and she had chosen to hit replay once again ... So I waited. 3 weeks later, guess what? Another message. Another midnight confession. He cheated again, she said, her voice raw. He was seeing some girl from another school. I feel so stupid. Part of me wanted to laugh. The other part wanted her to hurt. But I didn't say either ... instead. I said, you deserve better. And just like that, the cycle began again. Only this time, I wasn't the same guy. This time, I wasn't getting pulled by the strings. I was holding them. She leaned on me. She cried into late night calls. I listened patiently. Sent her memes. When she was sad, reminded her how strong she was. I became her safe space, the same way she had once been mine. But while she was rebuilding herself, I was preparing because I knew something she didn't. She would fall for me again. It wasn't arrogance. It was inevitability. People don't fall for kindness. They fall for consistency. And I was always there. When she got sick, I brought her soup ... when she bombed a test. I helped her study. When her dad yelled at her for staying out too late, I was the quiet voice that told her she was still worth something. And eventually, slowly, she opened up again, told me she was scared of losing me, told me she realized I was the only one who never abandoned her. And finally, she told me she loved me. I smiled when I read it ... not because I felt joy, but because the plan was working. It happened on a Friday ... the kind of day that starts with eerie calm. The sky was overcast but not stormy. People moved slowly, like the world was half asleep. And in the pit of my stomach, I felt something brewing. I had made plans to meet up with Elle that evening. We'd been casually talking for weeks, and our bond was slowly rekindling in the background of everything else. She had forgiven me, maybe not completely, but enough to let me back in. Meanwhile, Elle was glowing. She'd been posting little couple pics of us, finally unashamed to show the world what we had. Or rather, what she thought we had. She told me that same morning, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. And all I could think was, if only you knew. I met Elle at a quiet bar we used to frequent before everything went sideways. It wasn't crowded, just a couple of older people talking about football near the TV. She looked beautiful. Not dressed. Up just herself. Hair in a loose braid, denim jacket, eyes cautious but hopeful. We sat in our usual booth, talked about books, Netflix shows, and how high school drama never seems to end . Then came the moment. She touched my hand gently across the table. Why did you leave me? My throat tightened. I wanted to tell her everything. The chaos, the spiral, the war between love and revenge. but I see OULD and single quotes T dot instead. I just whispered, I was lost. And I thought I was chasing something real. But I never stopped thinking about you. Her eyes welled up, and that night, we ended up in her apartment. It was slow, emotional, not lust, not guilt, just closure. Or maybe a new beginning. But for me, it was also the final move. The next morning, I left early. I went home, and A was already at my place waiting, smiling, wearing my hoodie. She had coffee ready, and I told her everything I slept with. Her face dropped like glass hitting concrete. First came confusion, then shock, then the wave of betrayal. You what? I thought we were okay, I said, voice steady. But then I remembered how it felt. When you ran back to D, how you shattered me. That was different, she whispered, almost in denial. No, it wasn't. You just think it was because you were the one doing the damage. She stepped back like I'd slapped her. Tears welled up in her eyes. So this whole time, you were pretending? I shrugged. You said you loved me. After everything, after what you did, and I let you. Because I wanted you to feel it. To feel everything I did. She broke down, cried, begged, tried to hug me, apologize, bargain. You said you forgave me. I said I did, but I never meant it. And that was it. I didn't scream, didn't insult her. I just told her to leave, and when she did, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. Peace. But peace never lasts long, does it? Because within 24 hours, the storm came. My phone blew up. Her friends texted. Demas from people I didn't even know. You're a monster. She finally found happiness. And you ripped it away. Typical guy, leading her on just for a cheap thrill. They didn't know the whole story. No one did. Only A and I knew the depths of what really happened. And even she was rewriting it in her head, now painting herself as the victim. But the truth? She started it. She picked him over me. Twice. She slept with him while I was loving her. All I did was return the favor. In a way she never saw coming. And I didn't just walk away. I left her with the weight of every lie, every betrayal, every selfish choice she had ever made. She loved me deeply, maybe more than she ever loved D. And I ruined her, not out of hate, but to show her what love is supposed to look like before taking it all away, because you can't truly understand pain until someone uses your heart the way you used theirs. And that's exactly what I did. Asterisk, the days that followed were a blur of chaos, whispers, and screens. It started small. A's Instagram went dark, no new posts. Her stories once filled with sunshine and aesthetic coffee shots vanished. Then came the rumors. First through school, then through Demas, then even mutual friends started texting me. Bro, what happened with A? She's not talking to anyone. People are saying you cheated. The irony burned. She cheated first. But when I gave her a taste of her own betrayal, the world painted me as the villain. I didn't fight it. Not yet. Let them talk. But she unraveled. She skipped school, blocked people, deleted photos. From what I heard, she barely spoke to her parents. Her closest friends were panicking. And one night, she showed up at my door. Eyes bloodshot, sleepless. Her hair was in a bun, but it was messy, not cute. The kind of messy that screamed she hadn't cared in days. I can't eat. I can't sleep, she said. I didn't let her in. I just stood there. She pleaded. Please talk to me. For what? I asked calmly. So you can feel better? So you can rewrite what happened into some tragic misunderstanding? I loved you, she choked. Then you shouldn't have chosen him. Twice. Her voice cracked. I thought I didn't deserve you. That made me pause, because it was the first honest thing she'd said in a long time. I used to think that too, I replied. But now I just think you wanted safety without sacrifice. You wanted me to heal you that you didn't want to heal. For me, she leaned against the doorframe, sliding to the floor. I lost everything. You still have you, I said. That's more than what I had when you broke me. We sat in silence for a long time. Eventually, she left, but that wasn't the end. Because her friends weren't done, they started posting vague stories about toxic men, manipulators, guys who lure girls in just to shatter them. I became the cautionary. Tail dot and part of me dot dot. Let them believe it. Because the truth, it hurt less than the real version. People were kinder when they thought I was the villain. There was less pity, less awkwardness. They didn't look at me like I was broken. Just dangerous. I could live with that. L surprisingly stayed out of it. She never posted anything, never told anyone what happened between us. We talked once more briefly. She told me she hoped I found peace, that she hoped to learn from it, and I thanked her, because despite everything, she was the only one who never tried to rewrite the story. Weeks passed. I stopped hearing about it. People moved on to the next drama. New couples formed. New betrayals happened. But sometimes late at night, I'd find myself staring at old pictures, not because I missed her, but because I missed who I was before all this. The guy who believed in love without strategy. The guy who didn't need revenge to feel whole. That guy was gone. And maybe that's what revenge really costs. Not just the other person's heart, but pieces of your own. Months passed. The dust settled. The whispers died down. I became someone people spoke about in the past tense. And I wore the mask of someone who had moved on outwardly. I did all the right things, graduated, got into college, made new friends. I smiled when people talked to me. I laughed at jokes that barely registered, but something had shifted permanently inside me. Not a darkness exactly, more like a silence. A part of me that used to believe love was pure, sacred, something bigger than us. Gone. Not because of her, but because of me, because I had proved to myself I could become the very thing I once feared. The person who could plan someone's emotional downfall and still sleep at night. Sometimes I thought back to how it all started, that quiet admiration. The loyalty to my friend, the heartbreak of watching someone you love choose someone who doesn't deserve them. It felt like a different life. Back when I thought doing the right thing mattered. Back when I thought love could fix broken people, but people don't get fixed. Not by other people. They either decide to do the work or they repeat the cycle. She repeated the cycle. And I repeated mine in my own way. I ran into her once, randomly. Grocery store parking lot. She looked small. Not physically, just emotionally worn down. She had that quietness that people carry when they've been through something they still don't understand. She smiled faintly. I nodded back. We didn't talk. We didn't need to. Everything that had to be said had already been said, and nothing new would have mattered. That night, I sat on my balcony, scrolling through the old texts. The sweet ones. The ones before it all went to hell. Then I deleted them, not out of anger, but because I didn't need them anymore. They were reminders of a version of me that no longer existed. They dated since then, briefly, carefully, but I always keep one foot out the door, not because I don't want love, but because I know now how fast love can rot when it's built on half-truths and broken promises, and because I'm still figuring out if I became the villain she made me out to be, or if I was just the product of someone else's cruelty. Maybe both. What I do know is this: revenge felt good in the moment. Powerful, righteous. But justice doesn't rebuild you. It only tears the other person down. And when the dust clears, all that's left is you, alone, with the choices you made. So if you asked me today if I regret it, I'd say no. But I'd also say I understand now that revenge doesn't heal you. It just proves you can hurt two Dot. So yeah, she broke me first. But I finished it Dot, and the scariest part is I'm not sure who lost more. If this story hit you hard or made you question what you do in the same situation, drop a comment below. Ever seen karma come full circle? Share your story. And if you want more real, raw revenge tales like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Until next time, choose your revenge carefully